If you're a fan of mountain bike racing like I am, then you've probably watched lots of racing and seen some of the world's best riders get it wrong and fall off their bike. So everyone can do it, but here's some mistakes that even the best riders can make and how to try and avoid them. We're here at Fort William. Look, there's a World Cup downhill track over there, home of some of the best World Cup wins in all time, but also some of the biggest crashes and some injuries to some of the world's best riders. And we're on a different track today, but good example really is mistiming sections, because often on technical parts, rocks, roots, whatever, you're weighting and unweighting the bike to get some weight off the wheels when you're going across something that you just don't want to slam into, something like a slippy route or a big rock impact. And if you get the timing wrong, you inevitably sort of hit something much harder than you want to. Sometimes you get away with it. This is a good example here, because I think if I don't quite get over this rock, or I slam into that rock harder than I expect, that could send my weight towards the front of the bike or get me offline, and going offline in terrain like this is bad news. So when I'm riding technical terrain, I'm really thinking about two things. It's line choice and then timing, just to, you know, really look at where I'm going to be on the track and what I'm doing to the bike. So when am I going to start turning in to be on the line that I want? When am I going to plan that bunny hop to get over that edge? So that's the mistime part that I'm talking about here. And if I get that slightly wrong, I'm going to hit something that I don't want to be and potentially get offline as well. Misjudging jumps. Jumps can differ so much between a tall or a short takeoff. Is there a bit of a tight transition in there? That could mean it's going to buck you forward and up over the bars. If it's wet, it's going to roll a bit slower. You could sink into the takeoff a little bit. So experience will play a big part in getting jumps right. So doing jumps over and over again is really going to help you out, but you can still get it wrong. Today, looks pretty good. It's nice and dry, nice and firm. This takeoff looks like it's going to be quite fast coming into it, and it's a fairly tight transition, but I reckon it's going to give me a nice little pop, give me some nice height without going too fast. The best riders are good at judging all the factors and reacting on the go. Maybe pulling a bit harder on the takeoff to make more height, or pumping the landing harder to make more speed, or even squashing at the last minute if you're going too fast. Just trying to work out the speed and the pop to hit the landing. Jumping in the wind is horrible. It's so hard to predict. I just try and avoid it. Making mistakes when you're tired is a really big cause for crashes. It's something that, you know, you always hear that, just one last run. That's normally when you make the mistake because you are so tired. And I've seen it plenty of times. I've done it myself. World Cup downhill track here at Fort William is super physical. After halfway, it's probably when a lot of crashes happen. I know I've done it. You're absolutely blowing. It's something that not necessarily the pro racers can avoid, because cross country down, whatever, you're pushing as hard as you can. You are going to make mistakes. But for the amateur riders, or if you're not racing, then it might be just a chance of recognising when you are feeling tired, maybe saying, right, that was my last run. I'm not going to do any more. Or just chilling, thinking I'm tired. I'll just relax. I'm not going to push it too hard on this, this ride. And then hopefully you'll avoid the mistakes. I can see one down here that if you made a mistake when you're tired and compressed and flew offside the track, it'd be bad news. So I'm fresh. Fitness and performance do rely on lots of different factors as well, like diet, rest, illness, injury. So even if you're super fit, you need to recognise when you're not feeling good. Sometimes I've found, even when I've been super fit, I feel rubbish and I can push through that barrier and I'll start feeling good again. Other times, you just dig yourself into a hole and you start to feel super fatigued. So try and recognise when that is and just plan your rides accordingly. Trying too hard. Now I think there's lots of sort of different types of crashes that come underneath this one title. Have you ever tried to pedal so hard that you've pulled out your pedal and knee just haven't gone over the bars? Me neither. I think my favourite way of trying too hard and crashing is the front wheel washout. I've done that a lot of times. Now, I'm not sure you'll ever stop doing this because you might have the best skill ever and learn the right balance on your bike to get the weight perfectly front to back so both tyres are gripping, but still, grip can change, conditions can change. You could ride a really marbly corner like this and not spot the marbles. So I think you're always going to suffer from this a little bit, but they do happen more when you're trying just too hard. The best riders aren't necessarily the best mechanics. I know some of them are, but especially if you're riding your bike really hard, then you do need to check it. Things do come loose, so simple bolt check could save your skin. I remember the first ever World Cup downhill I went to try and qualify, my chain snapped out at the gate, did not qualify. And Andy Kiffin, the legendary mechanic, who was Steve Peate's winning mechanic for a lot of years, told me off for not checking every single link of my chain. At the time, I thought he was mad. But actually now I've come to recognise that actually you do need to be checking your bike all over, every single bit of it, pretty often. Otherwise, eventually it'll go wrong. Setting your bike up to suit your weaknesses. Now, you might have to bear with me on this one, because of course, if you're racing, you're going to set up your bike to be as best you can for the type of racing you do. But if you want to be a great all-round rider, then if you just ride a bike that completely suits your strengths, then you'll miss out on the other half of the riding. So a super fit rider might want to ride a super lightweight bike, but actually, if you make the bike a bit more robust, maybe by putting some heavier weight tyres on there, then you'll find that you'll be able to get more speed downhill as well. So if you're a really skilled rider, but not very fit, actually you might want to think about getting a slightly more efficient, lighter weight bike to speed up the rest of your riding. Do you see what I mean? I actually quite like underbiking myself a little bit. We're up in the big mountains today, riding at Norway or Ockham, so relatively short travel for a mountain like this, but I've got some decent chunky tyres in there. Yes, they are the trail versions, they're not big sidewalls, but I've got that big grip on there and I like to be able to push it hard. I think I've just about got the fitness to use them properly, and it kind of does suit my weaknesses a little bit. Whew. Well, there's some mistakes even the best riders make, and I still make a lot of them as well. Give us a thumbs up, like the video.